Hey guys, it's Deborah. If you've been following my channel for the last few days or a week or so, you see a running theme of beach because I've been using beach videos and copyright-free beach videos and thumbnails of beaches and stuff, and I realize it's subconscious that I'm doing it because I am tired of winter. And it's minus 3 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. Anyway, so yeah, okay, back to the point. Something amazing was shared with me by my friend and my very good friend and she was my next door neighbor. Then on to what I'm talking about now, which is amazing, is a book that she has, and I'm going to read you an insert from it. And it's basically from the founding Christian fathers. So it was 70 to I think 132 AD. So basically right after Jesus was on the earth. Okay, so this is some very credible stuff. Okay, so founding Christian fathers. So I'm gonna read you an insert that she just sent me, and I was like, what on earth? How could this is amazing. Okay, we are in the time, we second guess ourselves sometimes, but this is absolutely amazing. Okay, so let me just read it to you. This is the book it is from. She bought that book and she's been reading it, but yeah, let me just read to you what she sent me. This is from the book of Barnabas, I believe. So I'm not saying this is the Bible, but he was still alive between 70 and 100 AD. Okay, so anyway, so it says this: on the Sabbath. Next, about the Sabbath in the Decalogue, when God spoke to Moses face to face on Mount Sinai, we read, also keep the Lord's Sabbath holy with clean hands and pure heart. And in another place it says, if my sons keep my Sabbath, I will show mercy upon them. Now what is said at the very beginning of creation about the Sabbath is this: in 6 days God created the works of his hands and finished them on the seventh day, and he rested on that day and sanctified it. Notice particularly, my children, the significance of he finished them in 6 days. What that means is that he is going to bring the world to an end 6,000 years in 6,000 years, since with him 1 day means 1,000 years. Now, are you hearing this? This is written between 70 and 132 AD. That the world is going to end in 6,000 years. Okay, we know we've been talking about this, but this is written right after Jesus rose and lived. Okay, let's keep reading. Since with him 1 day means 1,000 years, witness his own saying, behold, a day of the Lord shall be 1,000 years. Therefore, my children, in 6 days, 6,000 years, that is, there is going to be an end of everything. After that, he rested on the seventh day, indicates that when his son returns, he will put an end to the years of the lawless one. Are you hearing this? Pass sentence on the godless, transform the sun and moon and stars, and then on the seventh day, enter into his true rest. That's the 7,000th year. This was written, okay, in 70 to 100 AD. You shall keep it holy, says he, with clean hands and a pure heart. We are very much mistaken. If there is anybody at the present time with a heart pure enough to keep holy the day which God has sanctified, observe, though, that a time is coming when we shall indeed rest and keep it holy, though not until our final justification has enabled us to do so. That is, when the promise has at last become ours, when iniquity is no more, and when the Lord has made all things new. Then we shall be able to keep it holy, because we ourselves will have been made holy first. So what did I just read? Let's read that part again where it says, therefore, my children, in 6 days, 6,000 years, that is, there is going to be an end of everything. So after 6,000 years, There's going to be an end of everything. This is one of the church fathers, and I'll explain who he is and why it's okay. And wow, they were believing this. They were thinking that in 6,000 years, everything was going to end. After that, he rested on the seventh day, indicates that when his son returns, he will put an end to the years of the lawless one. You guys know that I did like a countdown video, 555, 444, those numbers, a triplicate down to 111, and 111 actually means lawlessness. And I did this whole thing that it's a countdown to the lawless one arriving, and we know the lawless one is the Antichrist, and he's saying he will put an end to the lawless one after 6,000 years. Pass sentence on the godless, transform the sun, moon, and stars, and then on the seventh day enter into his true rest, which is the millennial reign. So what are we saying here? What we are saying is that Barnabas, who lived, well, I'm going to show you like a write-up about him, but basically between 70 and 100 AD. So basically in the time of Jesus and his disciples, he lived and knew this to be true. He knew that after 6,000, the world was 6,000 years old, that it would come to an end. Okay, I have never seen something like that ever. Okay, that is amazing. And wow. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about, are we in the 6,000th year? And who is this guy Barnabas? And a couple other things. Okay, let me first start with who is Barnabas? Okay, so who is the Barnabas who wrote this? Now, I showed it to my husband. I showed him this thing that my friend sent me. And he was like, wow. He goes, but this is not the Gospel of Barnabas, is it? Because that got discredited. And I was like, oh shoot, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's the Gospel or Epistle. So I looked up what she sent me, and she sent me, it said it was the Epistle of Barnabas. So I was like to him, no, it's the Epistle Barnabas. It's not the Gospel. So he was like, okay, good. And he was like, wow, that's amazing then. So anyway, what is the Epistle of Barnabas? Okay, so this is gotquestions.org, so it's reliable. Answer, not to be confused with the Gospel of Barnabas. The Epistle of Barnabas, also known as the Letter of Barnabas, is an early writing of Christianity frequently mentioned by other church fathers. So the Epistle of Barnabas is okay. It is not part of the canon, but it is fine to believe and read, just like the book of Enoch was mentioned in the Bible. So basically, church fathers said it was okay. So this person, this Barnabas, basically said the world's going to end when it turns 6,000 years old. Okay, and this guy's okay. Although it is named for Barnabas, an associate of Paul. The letter itself does not mention its author. Rather, this connection was made by commenters such as Clement of Alexandria. This dates it somewhere in the late 1st to very early 2nd century. The text gives insight into Old Testament Jewish laws and traditions, comparing and contrasting them with Christian practices under the New Covenant. The term gnosis, meaning knowledge, is used by the Epistle of Barnabas to describe its message. However, the content contradicts early heresies such as Gnosticism, so it does not believe in Gnosticism. And it seems to reflect an orthodox early understanding of the faith. At the same time, some writers criticize it for relying heavily on oral tradition about the Old Testament, the Mishnah, as well as use of gematria or biblical numerology. So it was very heavily into Jewish things, but it was still looked at as a good source. Early church fathers referred to the Epistle of Barnabas, including Origen, who seemed to think it was an authentic writing of Barnabas. Okay, wasn't he the guy with Paul? This is crazy. He's the guy saying the world will end when it's 6,000 years old. The text was included at the end of some early copies of the Bible, where it might have been considered as a reference. Most early Christians did not seem to consider it part of the inspired scripture. However, it was valued for its insight into Jewish theology. That perspective is best described as interpreting the Old Testament through the lens of early Christianity. Those explanations make up most of the letter. The last section of the Epistle of Barnabas describes a series of positive commands followed by the opposites. These are contrasted as the way of light and the way of darkness. Respectively, the way of light reflects a heavenly Jewish understanding of Christian behavior and morals. This is followed by the way of darkness, also called the way of the black one, referring to Satan. While not a part of the canon of Scripture, the Epistle of Barnabas is still valuable resource. Early church fathers recognized its usefulness, even as they agreed it was not divinely inspired, Whether or not the Epistle of Barnabas was actually written by Barnabas himself, modern believers can read it from the same cautious perspective. Okay, so let's recap here. I just read you something from between 70 and 100-ish AD of a writer who has extra biblical proof and support that he existed and that he possibly was a friend of maybe the Apostle Paul. And he basically said it's common knowledge. For them, it was common knowledge that the world would end in 6,000 years. You may be saying to yourself, well, has the earth been around for 6,000 years or billions and millions of years? They teach you it's billions of years old. Well, I did a study showing why you can calculate through biblical characters how old the earth is from Adam. You can physically calculate it. I will put that in the description box. Now, the Church Soldiers for Christ, they have another write-up that was actually given to me by email, but I cannot find the email, writing up why they have calculated it to 2017 being the 6,000th year. The one that I have was a study that I didn't have the time to do all the numbers, but I checked them and stuff, and it was from Cornelius Jones. He has a channel, and he did all the work. It took him weeks and weeks to calculate everything, but you can do it yourself. You can literally go from Adam all the way to now. You can calculate it, and it brings you to 6,000 years. His math brought him close to around the same thing. It was 2017 when he did it, and it brought him to 5997, I think. So 2020 would have been the 6,000th year, something like that. He had made this video in 2017. So I'll link my video on that in the description box. I'm not a very detailed person. I'm really a more casual person. So I don't have the time to do it all, to calculate everything to a T or to the exact day or something. But I'm fine if we're in and around the 6,000th year, whatever. So this is crazy though. It's supported proof that it's not the Gospel of Barnabas. This is the epistle, which is supported. Can you believe in the days of Paul? Okay. And Paul and Silas and Barnabas. And in those days, it was common knowledge. They knew because of the 6-day work week and the 1-day rest. It was common knowledge that they knew when the earth was 6,000 years old, it would end. When I say end, I don't mean blow up or something. If you're new to this channel, new to Christianity, I mean, there's things that the Bible talks about how it will come to a close. There will be a 7-year great tribulation, a really bad time that they call the time of Jacob's trouble, to recompense for the sins of Israel, 7 years at the end of the 6,000 years. And then that's going to bring you to the 7,000 years. And from 7,000 to 8,000, it's going to be a time of pure peace with Jesus ruling. And then he's going to create a new heaven and new earth. So then the earth will end, I guess you can say, quote unquote. So, well, it will, I guess there'll be a new heaven, new earth. So anyway, this is amazing. Okay, here's another thing for anybody here who's post-trib. Did you know in the time of Barnabas, this guy, Paul and Silas and all these people, they believed, and John the Revelator, okay, you guys know how I love John. I love them all. You know how I love John, okay? They believed that there was a pre-tribulation rapture, or there'd be a rescue before the bad times. Do you want proof of that? So they believed this in 100 AD, because I have proof that John's disciple, his disciple, wrote about being rescued from the tribulation. Okay, so I'll link my video on that. It's rapture proof within 100 AD that, you know how people are like, oh, the rapture is a new concept. It's new. I'm proving it. See, that's, when people say this and then I give proof, that's the thing is a lot of people love to say things, but this is a hidden secret that's for those who really love the Lord and search and seek, and they don't just follow man. Okay, I'll link the video that I made showing the church fathers talking about the rapture, the pre-tribulation rapture, right in the time. It was John the Revelator, John who wrote Revelation. His discipled another guy, and that guy wrote about it. Okay, you can't say, oh, look at it was made, the rapture concept was made in 1950. No, it wasn't. And look at this. This is proof from the days that Jesus, right after he died and rose again, right after 70 AD to 130 AD, okay? he is saying the earth is only going to be around for 6,000 years, and then the 7,000th year is going to be rest. And I mean, I know we know that, but this is amazing how long they've believed this. It was like they just knew it. They were like, yeah, that's what it's going to be like. And here we are living in it. So what else did I want to say? Let me think. Well, that's probably it, you guys. And you may be thinking, well, why are you even telling me this? We already know it's 6,000 years and it's not billions of years old or whatever. Well, the more proof you have, the more it's like, is it called apologetics? Hermeneutics? I don't know. I think apologetics is like you have reason for your faith. This is just amazing. I think there's a lot of proof. So I'll link in the description box, like I said, my video on the 6,000th year and how you can literally count from Adam to today and know what year we're in and how amazing that is. And I'll also link in the description box the video on the early church fathers and why the rapture is not a new concept. Okay, proof. So this is a reason for our blessed hope. This is a reason to believe that, yeah, we're having these dreams, visions, understanding, words from the Lord, and just overall like feeling that we're at the end. So anyway, like I said, I'll leave it at that. Link the videos in the description box, and yeah, hope it blesses you guys. So, okay, we'll talk to you guys again soon. And until next time, God bless and shalom.